Welcome to Traxos, Scourge of Kroog. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, I love it. We're going to keep on this one. We have 3 lands in the hand. We have Darksteel Citadel. It's like we're playing Modern Affinity. I love it. We do have a lot of 4-drops in the hand, the Hedron Archive and Clock of Omens, but these are all some really good artifacts that I'm really excited to play with. So let's go and lead off with Darksteel Citadel, and let's let our opponent know what's up. Let's go and go for Darksteel Citadel. Let's go Mox Opal. That way, if our opponent is a Modern fan, they'll have a few flashbacks of us just dumping our entire hand. All right, anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We are playing Traxos, Scourge of Kroog. Trample, when Traxos enters the battlefield tapped and does not untap during your untap step, then whenever you cast an historic spell, untap Traxos. We could have held on to Mox Opal to get a cheap Traxos untap, but playing gets black, and sometimes black has hand disruption, and I just really like Mox Opal to be on the battlefield. I don't want it to be into the graveyard. Let's go ahead and go for Dire Reach Sanitarium. Yeah, I think I like that. We're going to get that down, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. We're playing at Skittles, the Infect Dragon, Flying Infect. Then for 1 black mana, Skittles gains haste until end of turn. Then for 2 black mana, Skittles, you can regenerate Skittles. You can taste the Infect Rainbow. Probably it does not taste good. I've tasted it before. It's not a good taste. You do not want it in your mouth. It's a really bad flavor. Let's go and go for. Do you want to go for Seagate Wreckage? Yeah, we're going to go for the get down Seagate Wreckage. Now, we could tap out for Walking Ballista for 1. That'll turn on Mox Opal. But we'll simply just be able to go for Traxos the following turn. Yeah, let's just go and pass the turn. Maybe we get in a spot where we get a bunch of mana going. Maybe somehow with Clock of Omens and Hedron Archive, we can somehow maybe get around that regenerate mana with double black with Walking Ballista. So I think I kind of like holding on to that one. So we'll definitely go for that one. Opponent's going to get down Bonte's Monument. Something like, oh, Maze of Ith would be a wonderful draw. Let's go and go for Field of Ruin. And we're looking at Monolith, and then actually you could go for Hedron Archive with that 2 mana. Yeah, let's do this. Let's go for Basalt Monolith. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. That'll actually turn on Mox Opal. That way we can really kind of open up a lot of our mana that we have in our hand. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. Let's go and go for Hedron Archive. Let's go and tap out for Mox Opal. And then we'll be able to add that 2 mana to our mana pool. 1, 2, Darksteel Citadel, untap, Basalt Monolith, and then anything else. We're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. There we go. Look at that mana. Turn 4. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10. So we're going to have 10 mana. That will put us online for Traxos. We can tap out for Traxos, or if we want to tap out for a really big Walking Ballista, we can definitely go for that one. The downside to Skittles is that it can be given haste, so we have to watch out for that haste option. So what we can do is at least tap out for a 5/5 Walking Ballista at this point right now, and at least kind of keep it off the battlefield. Hopefully kind of get that commander tax up. That's what we want to get going. Okay, drawn to Deserted Temple. Let's go and get down Deserted Temple, and at this point right now, we can tap down Darksteel Citadel to kind of actually add a little bit of extra mana with that. Let's go and go for Videlican Orrery. I think that sounds good. That kind of puts us online to kind of do whatever we want. It's going to be 1, 2. If we want to flash in Traxos, we can flash it in. Let's go Mox Opal, and let's go and go for Field of Ruin. Actually, we'll go for Seagate Wreckage. Let's go and get down that, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass under our opponent. So that does keep us online for Traxos, or we can actually go for Clock of Omens. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that will be 7 total mana. So it kind of puts us in a spot where we can flash in Traxos, and then during our main phase go for something like Clock of Omens, or still kind of keep us online. Also with Videlican Orrery, it actually kind of turns Walking Ballista into some sort of removal spell, so we can get that down. We don't have enough mana at this point right now, but it's something we can kind of work towards to catch our opponent off guard as Walking Ballista jumps out of the sky to jump on the Skittles' back and take care of it. Now, I did record a Traxos video earlier. I don't know if I'm going to splice it onto this one. It kind of depends on how long this video goes. But there was one point where I was talking about, it was Atarka, and I was talking about how I was really liking the flavorful matchup, and it reminded me of a movie where like a bunch of robots fight in a Pacific Rim. That was the name of the movie that I was looking for, and I don't know why I can never remember the name of that movie. But anyway, so depending on how I sequence the video, I was talking about Pacific Rim on that one. But I'm just going to get down Golden Guardian. 2 mana, fights another target creature you control. And then whenever it dies this turn, return it to the battlefield transformed under your control. Create some Golem tokens. Okay. Target creature you control. All right. Let's go ahead and go for, let's go and flash in. Yeah, I think I kind of like flashing in Traxos. Let's go and go for that. This is going to be 1, 2, 3. Got Traxos coming out of the hills with a bunch of houses on them. Okay, we're drawn to Sunset Pyramid. We can actually go for, do we want to get down Clock of Omens? Yeah, I think I like that. It's going to be our best option. We're going to be able to untap with Traxos. It's going to be 1, 2. We'll leave up as much as much mana as possible. Let's go and go for Seagate Wreckage. Let's go and get down the Clock of Omens, and then we'll also be able to start swinging in with Traxos. Okay, it's going to be 7/7. More than likely, we won't see a block from our opponent because they probably want that Guardian to flip. So it's going to push in for 7. That'll at least be 7 total commander damage. And that's one of the fun things about playing Traxos is that it is a big 7/7 trample creature for only 4 mana. And you're just basically running every card in your deck is basically a historic spell. So it basically just equates to a 4 mana 7/7 with trample. So even if you can't get some really good value going off a lot of your artifacts, what's going to end up happening is that you get down Traxos, and you can almost get into spots where you end up with kind of like a Voltron build without even necessarily going for a Voltron build. Anything else that we're going to go for? No, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. So opponent is sitting at a 4/4 Skittles. Let's kind of do a little bit of mana math. We do have Clock of Omens. That's one of the downsides of this deck and recording is making sure that I don't miss something as far as tapping or untapping an artifact. We can actually tap out Videlican Orrery and tap down Darksteel Citadel to untap Assault Monolith. That'll kind of give us a little bit extra mana. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're looking at about 9 mana. So it's going to be a Walking Ballista for 4, which will allow us to kind of start pinging it for that extra damage. So let's see what our opponent's going to tap out for. Opponent's going to go for Warped Landscape. And then once we now that we do have Traxos down onto the battlefield, what I'm thinking about doing is simply just passing the turn with an open Walking Ballista. That way we can kind of take advantage of that damage on Skittles. That's going to be, yeah, I think I do like that. It kind of puts us in a spot to where we can kind of keep putting pressure onto our opponents. Go and flash in Sunset Pyramid, and that'll actually allow us to give us another artifact to untap with Clock of Omens, actually increasing the amount of mana that we have. Let's go ahead and go for the remove a brick counter and then draw a card. And we're going to draw an additional card, and then also what we can do is we can tap Clock of Omens and Videlican Orrery. Let's make sure I clicked on this one right. So tap 2 choose target artifact we want to untap. That's going to be Hedron Archive. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, we're not going to have any way to do that one with that activation. All right. That's perfectly fine. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Now, we're going to kick the turn over. Draw into Dreamstone Hedron, and we draw into Thran Dynamo. I'm just going to push in for 7. That's going to be 10 total commander damage on our opponent. Okay, and that does knock him down to 10 total commander damage and puts him down to 21. And then we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent with that Videlican Orrery on the battlefield. So as far as non-traditional artifacts, we do have Sunset Pyramid and Videlican Orrery. That's 2 artifacts that we can tap to untap an artifact. Also, if we need to tap out for his Darksteel Citadel, in addition to actually Clock of Omens itself, that's going to allow us to really tap out for a pretty good chunk of mana. The thing is, if we're going to tap out for a really big chunk of mana and go for Walking Ballista, what we need to end up doing is sequencing it to where our opponent doesn't have that extra mana to pay for Skittles, or if we can somehow end up with Walking Ballista for maybe around the 10 range, we can start pinging Skittles. And then once they go for that activation, we can start pinging it again in response to that one. But let's see how our opponent wants to kind of sequence this turn, though. Okay, so we have Demon Lord Belzenlock coming down. Demon Lord Bell. Sorry about that. I kind of butchered the last part of the name. It's going to enter the battlefield, exile the top card of your library until you hit a card. Let me see. See what they revealed off of that one. Phyrexian Altar. Okay. Now, at this point right now, with this sitting at a 7/7, it's going to allow us to push across. It's going to be 17 total commander damage. We will get some good flashing in on this one. And with them only having 1 mana up, what we can do is kind of dump a lot of mana into Walking Ballista if we want to end up going for that. Let's go and flash it. Let's go and go for, let's tap out for Monolith. That's going to be 3 total mana. Let's go ahead and untap Monolith. We're going to tap down Sunset Pyramid and Videlican Orrery. Add that extra 3 mana to our mana pool. Let's go and untap Monolith, and we're going to go ahead and tap down on Darksteel, and then Citadel. Yeah, that would add some extra mana to our mana pool. And let's go ahead and flash in Dreamstone Hedron. It's going to allow us to untap Traxos. We can use that 3 mana and actually untap Monolith too, and then get down Thran Dynamo, and then start working towards that Walking Ballista too. Okay, let's go and go 1, 2, 3. Tap out on Field of Ruin. Let's go and flash in Thran Dynamo. And that will put us at, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That'll be a Walking Ballista for a 6/6. I think I kind of like that. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that way we can actually start dumping some more counters onto Walking Ballista. Yeah, enter the battlefield as a 6/6. All right, Walking Ballista is going to enter the battlefield as a 6/6, and then next turn we're going to be able to untap with a ton of mana. All right, Poto's going to scoop it up on that one. The Walking Ballista for a 6/6 is more than enough. Like I mentioned earlier, we get down a Clock of Omens. Technically, it's not over just yet, but if our opponent's going to scoop it up, I'll take it. It's a Traxos win in my book. But we have Traxos coming across. It's going to be 7/7, so they're basically going to throw Demon Lord in front of Traxos. We get down Walking Ballista. We can pump a few more artifacts in there. So basically, we're going to be swinging in for about 14. They're going to lose out on Demon Lord. Even if they do get down Skittles, we'll have Walking Ballista to kind of start shooting those arrows at it to get it out of the sky, kind of like Game of Thrones. So we had the Game of Thrones game plan against our opponent to kind of take care of that. But anyways, you know, some of these Traxos videos, you do end up with kind of incomplete games or shorter games, but once you get a lot of value on, it's kind of like when you're playing Unesh, you know, you end up with a ton of card draw. It's just really hard to bounce back from that one. When you're playing Traxos, you end up with a lot of really good artifact value on the battlefield, Clock of Omens, Thran Dynamo, Dreamstone, where you can just really untap a bunch of artifacts and gain a ton of mana. It's just really hard to bounce back from that one. Let's see what we're going to draw into, though. It's kind of curious. We would have been able to swing in, and then actually it's not going to show me. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Traxos. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, we've got 2 lands in the hand and Opal Palace. That will put us online for Mannequin. Do you want to keep on? Yeah, we'll go and keep on this one. I like Karn. We have Mirage Mirror in the hand, Unwinding Clock. So hopefully we just run into a couple more lands and we should be good to go. So it's going to get down Throne of High City. It's going to get that down, and then anything else we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. We are playing Traxos, Scourge of Kroog. Trample. When our Traxos enters the battlefield, it enters the battlefield tapped and does not untap during your untap step. Then whenever you cast an historic spell, untap Traxos. That's going to be an artifact, legendary, or a saga. Now we do have Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. We can add 2 mana to our mana pool. And we can spend this mana to cast colorless spells, and we can only activate that if we have 7 or more lands. All right, there we go. Run into Gargoyle Castle. Let's go and get down Gargoyle Castle. Let's go and go for Mannequin. Let's go and tap it on that one. Let's go and get down Mox Opal. Yeah, I think I like that. We're going to get down Mox Opal. That, just in case our opponent has some sort of wheel effect, we'll at least have that on the battlefield. We're playing against Atarka, World Render. It's Battle of the... what is that movie? I can never remember the name of it. I did this in another video where it's... It's where the big... It's not Transformers. Anyway, we're playing Atarka, World Render. Flying Trample, whenever a dragon you control attacks, it deals... it gains double strike until end of turn. All right, drawn to Unstable. Yeah, let's go and get down Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. We want to tap out for Traxos. That'll put us online for Mox Opal too. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go and start putting some pressure on our opponent. This can be 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Get down Traxos, and then anything else we're going to go pass turn to our opponent. So we'll actually be online for untapping Traxos next turn. We can either go for Karn, Unwinding Clock, Mirage Mirror, anything out of the hand that we can go for. We'll be able to get that going. But, oh man, what is that movie? Okay, drawn to Oblivion Stone. Sorry, I was trying to look up the name of that movie here in a second. Let's go ahead and go for... Yeah, actually, that's a really good draw. Let's go ahead and get down Oblivion Stone. That's going to be Mox Opal, Mannequin, and then we'll go and tap out for Shrine. Unfortunately, we did not run into another lane for the turn. That would have been nice to get down one of these, but at least having Oblivion Stone kind of keeps us open as far as keeping the board clear for us. Let's go and swing in for 7. There will be 7 total commander damage, knocking them down to 22, and then anything else we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. But yeah, it's just a big movie where it's not Transformers, but a bunch of big like creatures fight, almost kind of like Godzilla, and it came out maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. So, and I know I'm probably giving you minimal details on that one, but I can see it in my head, and it's funny because there's another video where I tried to remember the name of the movie, and it was just like my mind went into like a gridlock. I could just not remember what it was called. But anyway, welcome to Traxos. As far as what we've got going on with Traxos, is, you know, there's a couple different builds of Traxos that you can go with. You can go with Voltron build, you can go with kind of value build. We kind of settled into more of just a straight artifact value style build. We've got good stuff like Karn in here, Unwinding Clock. So there's not necessarily one particular game plan that we're pushing. It's just all the good stuff in here, all the things to have fun with. Okay, opponent did get down Green Warden down. How do we want to sequence this one? We're looking at 1, 2, 3 getting down Unstable, and then we go for Mirage Mirror. I think I do like that. Let's go for Unstable. That's going to be 1, 2, and then 3. We're getting really far away from the from the activation of Shrine of the Forsaken Gods. So hopefully we can start making a few more land drops. Let's go 1, 2, then 3. Let's go and get down Mirage Mirror. That's going to actually, ooh, we should have sequenced that just a little bit differently. We could have untapped Traxos on our second main phase. Sorry about that. Let's go and push in with Traxos. It's going to be another 7 coming across. It does have trample, so if our opponent wants to throw it in front of them, they can go for that. If it does die, they'll be able to exile it and return a card back to their hand. So we might be looking at something like Rampant Growth coming back. Yeah, we should have saved that Mirage Mirror to untap Traxos. That way we'd be okay. But either way, we'd probably be casting Karn or Unwinding Clock. So it just would have helped us if our opponent had some sort of hasty creature coming down on their first main phase. But yeah, that's pretty much it what we're doing for the deck. You can see we've got stuff like Worm Coil, and we get that going. Now, as far as Planeswalkers, we do have Karn in here. We also have Big Karn, and we also have Ugin in here. So those are really good ways for us to get kind of that game plan going. Outside of that, we have some good removal in here. Well, not necessarily I say good removal. We have Artifact removal, and that's pretty much the going rate for any sort of colorless removal is going to be 7 mana. So we have stuff like it's instant speed, 7 mana, exile target permanent, I think Scour from Existence. There's Universal Solvent, which is a 1 mana artifact with a 7 mana activation. So pretty much 7 mana is where we're going to be at to kind of get some stuff going. All right, see what we're drawing to. Drawn to Homeward Path. Let's go and get down Homeward Path. Now, we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are looking at 7 total mana. Do we want to go for Worm Coil Engine? That way, if we're going to be online for Oblivion Stone, yeah, I think I do like that. Let's go for Worm Coil Engine. The main reason for that is if we get down Worm Coil Engine, let's say our opponent does get down Atarka, what we can do is have Mirage Mirror become a copy of it, and then that way, whenever we do go for Oblivion Stone, we'll end up with like 4 tokens on the battlefield. So I think I kind of like that. Let's go and push in with Traxos. See if our opponent has any sort of interaction with Traxos. That will be 17 total commander damage that we've dealt, and we'll be putting them down to 12. All right, so your opponent's tapping out for us. It's going to be 5 total, 6. Oh, a big chunk of mana. We got the we got the Hellkite getting flashed in. 5 damage, any number of targets. Okay, so what they can do is they can take care of Mannequin if they want to. I guess we'll see how they want to divvy this damage up, because they're not really going to be able to take care of any particular creature. Okay, so we've got 2 damage being dealt to Traxos. We have 1 damage being dealt to us, and then the other 2 damage being dealt to us. Okay, there we go. All right, so that will at least we'll be able to take care of the Hellkite swinging down. Did not expect a Dragon Flash on that one, but we got Dragoned. And that's going to send Traxos back to the command zone. Let's get that pop back up, and then anything else we're going to go and pass it under our opponent. But yeah, so, that was some of the removal that we do have for the deck. We're also running, some good value creatures in here with Oblivion, with Worm Coil Engine. Works really well once we make that a copy of Mirage Mirror. And then also, fun stuff like Winding Clock. We have Winding Clock in here. It's going to untap all of our artifacts, so it kind of gets around that Traxos untap clause. At the same time, we have a lot of mana rocks in here. So, and the same thing with, what is it? The Clock of Omens, I think it's where you tap 2 artifacts to untap an artifact. So there's just a lot of different interactions within the deck that not necessarily we have them in here for on purpose to combo off with something, but they just work really well together. They've really good synergy. Okay, our opponent's going to get down Fires of Yavimaya. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're looking at 6 mana, so we don't necessarily have to worry about Atarka coming down at this point right now. They can go for the activation of Fires of Yavimaya. A target creature gets +2/+2 if they want to sacrifice it. Let's see if they're going to be tapping out for this turn. Okay, and they simply just go for a Blighted Woodland activation. Now at this point right now, Maze of Ith. I like that a lot. What we can do is really we couldn't go for Traxos, but it's not going to have trample. I mean, it's not going to have haste or anything like that. I think I kind of like getting down Maze of Ith. And then let's go Mirage Mirror on Worm Coil Engine. I think that sounds good. Yeah, that's going to be 1/2 off Mox Opal. Have it become a copy of that. So we're looking at 12 coming across. It's going to put them down to 5, and we'll gain a pretty good chunk of life off of that. If we wanted to go for Oblivion Stone for some reason to blow everything up, we could. That's going to be 12 coming across, puts them down to 5. That's going to put them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they still would be able to go for Atarka. But with us having Maze of Ith, yeah, I kind of like this. Let's go and go for Karn. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's get down Karn. We'll get down Traxos. Let's go ahead and go for the +1 on that one. We're going to exile the top 2 cards, or reveal the top 2 cards of our library. Opponent's going to put one of those cards into our hand, and then the other card goes into exile. All right, take Book of Wrath, and then anything else we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. All right, and our opponent did play Kessig Wolfrun, so that's going to allow them to at least kind of tap out for a pretty good chunk of mana. But thankfully, since we did draw into Maze of Ith, that's pretty much one of our deck's main answer to a Voltron-style deck like Atarka. So even if they do tap out for Atarka, let's say that they had extra mana to go for a Kessig Wolfrun activation, with us having Maze of Ith, we're going to be able to untap that attack creature and kind of fog them out for a combat step. Okay, but it's going to tap out for Atarka. It's going to come down. It's going to be 6/4, and whenever it does attack, it will have double strike. Let's go and get this revealed zone kind of just squared up just a little bit so we can have a little bit more room on the screen. All right, they're going to come across. We will be able to go for that Maze of Ith activation, which we will go for. And it's going to untap target creature. So let's go and go for that. I'm going to use Maze of Ith on Atarka, untap target attacking creature. They did sacrifice Yavi's Fires of Yavimaya, so at least it's not going to deal any sort of damage on this one. All right, Poto's going to scoop it up on that one. Even if we don't go for Traxos next turn, once we get back to our main phase, we're going to be able to go from Rajmir on Wormcoil Engine. And since they did tap out for Atarka and sacrifice Fires of Yavimaya, what we could do is go for an Oblivion Stone activation, and that would put 4 tokens onto the battlefield, allowing us to kind of push past on that one if they had some sort of answer on that one. But we drew really hot. We drew into that Maze of Ith. That really kind of helped us. It did help that we got in for some lifelink with Wormcoil Engine. But yeah, drawing into that Maze of Ith was definitely a game changer because it allowed us to kind of stop the Atarka World Render from coming across. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.